Good morning, ATD family. We are back in the new year. Welcome to 2025. Baseball is quickly approaching 5.5 weeks until pitchers and catchers report. For those of you that don't remember, pitchers and catchers are taken away from their loved ones on Valentine's Day. They're not allowed to celebrate with them. Why? Because they got to start reporting to camp. It is Grand Slam Sam. It is Baseball Bill. We are here for another episode of ATD to start the year off. We're going to get this going as we always do. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this beautiful morning?
I'm doing wonderful. And I got to tell you, I don't even feel bad for these guys missing out their families on Valentine's Day. The league minimum is $750,000. They make over $60,000 a month just on the league minimum. Most of these guys are making a lot more. I can't cry about a guy who's making $2 or $3 million a year. I mean, come on. Okay, so what? You miss Valentine's Day? Eh,
They just end up doing it wherever they're you know
don't
wherever they
even
are.
feel bad. I'm not even heartbroken.
Yeah.
Grand Slam Sam, let's get it
They're
going. We've got
loading
an
up the
interesting
cars
show
with
today.
flowers. They're giving out the expensive jewelry. That's what they
Mhm.
want. That's what the wives want. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it is
Hey
what it
man, we got a
is.
great show today. Let's get it on.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these recent free agent signings that took place
Boom, boom.
after Juan Soto got signed. Because I don't think any of us thought any major signings were going to come after that, but there were a few.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, couple. There was one big one. We'll talk about that one. But a couple of big signings that happened during the holiday break. Paul Goldschmidt is cutting the beard and going clean as he heads over to New York, putting on the pinstripes. Um, I think this was a good signing for the Yankees. I think after letting Rizzo go, I think Paul Goldschmidt is that kind of transitional guy on a 1 year deal to help get them going. They'll probably bring up some other young guys, but I don't mind this one. Um, Sean Manaea staying with the Mets on a 3 year, $75 million contract. They needed to keep him. He thrived there.
100%.
I think this was a smart play. Jockey Peterson heading over to Texas, playing with Bochy and the Rangers. Walker Bueller leaving LA and heading to the other coast, the East Coast, playing for the Red Sox on a 1 year, $21 million contract. Andrew McCutchen going back to Pittsburgh for one more year, hitting that 1 year, $5 million contract, getting him for a steal. Charlie Morton leaving Atlanta and heading up to Baltimore for 2 years at just under 30 million. And the big one from the last 2 weeks, Corbin Burns is saying, bye bye, Baltimore. I'm heading to the desert for the next 6 years on a $210 million contract.
Mhm.
Man, Bill, that was a lot for me to go through. But
Okay.
what are your thoughts on these seven signings?
Okay. I'm going to throw something out here right now, Sam. I'm going to give you a challenge, and I want to see if you're going to accept it or not. Okay. This just came up to me when you said Paul Goldschmidt. Okay. You ready?
I spelled
Any,
his name right.
yeah, any team besides the 2024 world champion Los Angeles Dodgers win the West and you keep the beard. The Dodgers win the West this year and you shave the beard.
No,
Come on,
no.
come
I
on.
can't. You, for those of you that don't know, I haven't seen what my face looks like without a beard since I was 19. So
Hey,
I
listen.
don't know if after 16 or 17 years I could actually shave. I
Okay,
like don't
listen.
know if
I'm
I
gonna
could
get
do it.
call in people to call in and say,
You
Sam,
get
shave the beard.
give me till our next episode to decide if I'm gonna go through with this gamble. This is not one I can make on the spot.
Okay, all right.
There are
Okay,
other
so
people that have to be involved in the decision of this beard
I,
because
I'm
remember,
calling your wife right now.
I do have someone that has to look at my face every day.
Yeah, I'm calling your wife
So
right now. Okay, so a couple of these signings I like, a couple of them, whatever. I actually do like the Corbin Burns going to the desert. He got paid one. He goes into a club that is very strong. They need some additional pitching. He's going to supply that. I love the signing of Paul Goldschmidt going to the Yankees. Anthony Rizzo's out. You bring in another bat. Now that you have the bats of Goldschmidt, you have the bat of Arson Judge. You still have the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. Like you still have plenty of bats over in that clubhouse. I like this because this gives the depth that you need so that you don't have to pitch around. Sean Manaea going back to the Mets, great job. Jock Peterson, who cares? He's not going to make that much of an influence over in Texas. Um, I am so glad that the Pirates took Andrew McCutchen and said, "Homie, let me give you another contract." I love that. Charlie Morton, congratulations. I really like the Walker Buehler thing because this tells you. Remember, $21 million, I think, was Walker's qualifying offer, and he rejected it from the Dodgers because he knew that
Yeah.
he wasn't going to get the playing time that he really, really needed. So I actually like this move. So all these things, I mean, with the exception of Jock Peterson, I really like. I think Jock's should pay them 37 million to let you know for him to wear the uniform, but that's another story.
No, I hey no, that was funny. Um, you know, I like Paul going to New York. I think Paul going to New York, it's going to be weird to see him without a beard. But again, I agree with you.
Mhm,
Letting Rizzo go, bringing in a veteran first baseman that you could
mhm,
swap between first and DH, while you bring up one of your young guys that can kind of be molded by Paul. Smart, smart play. The Mets had to bring back pitching. They had to bring back pitching.
mhm.
They
They
didn't have a
did.
choice.
Yeah.
And I don't, I did not see Burns as an option there. I did not see, you know, Verlander or Scherzer after them leaving. I think Mania, he played really well there. He liked New York. He liked the clubhouse. I
Mhm,
think this
mhm.
was a smart play. Um,
I did
I
too.
agree with you on Bueller leaving LA. There really wasn't a place for him anymore.
There wasn't.
You
There
guys
wasn't.
you guys loaded up your pitching, and it's part of the reason why, in all honesty, I don't see you getting the Roki out of Japan. I just don't think you have enough. You have nowhere to put him.
Mhm.
You don't. You have no pitching spots.
Yeah.
None.
No, and there's a lot of truth to that too. And again, the last thing that you want and what people don't understand, and I'm going to go back to it, and I've said this 100 times, Sam. Are you a basketball guy? I know you're a football guy, but are you a basketball guy?
Not a big basketball guy, but I dabble.
Okay. So
I
the
dabble.
Los Angeles Lakers years ago tried to create a dream team. They had Shaq and Kobe, and they got Carl Malone in the last part of his career. Gary Payton was there, and so was Steve Nash. You had
Yeah.
like this, and you still had Robert Ory and Derek Fisher and all this stuff, right? And you tried to create this dream team, and they missed the playoffs because
Mhm.
you can't do that. And what the Dodgers have right now, I mean, Jack Flaherty is trying to sign with the Dodgers, but there's no spots for him. I mean, you've got 14 starting pitchers already. The last thing you want is this organization in the clubhouse because you're not getting the innings, right?
Right.
And so to me, I the only signing that I think the Dodgers need to do is they need to re-sign Kiki Hernandez, so that you already have Chris Taylor, but if you can get Kiki Hernandez back, that gives you a bat and a glove that can play second, short, third, or in the outfield, right? And he's
Yeah.
pitched a couple of times too.
You got your utility player.
Yeah, I mean his ERA was 0.00 last year, and I think he threw like 3 or 4 innings. So I mean he was
Yeah.
peppering it up there at as high as 73. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now, McCutcheon going back to Pittsburgh, that one
Love it.
I don't really care about that one. I think it's great for McCutcheon. He wants to end his career in Pittsburgh. I don't see him playing in another year after this. I think this is literally the end all be all for him. I would say that we'll probably see him announce his farewell tour, like at spring training, if he hasn't already announced it. But I see
Mhm.
this as being like the end all for him.
Yeah, and very possible.
Morton, yeah, Morton going to Baltimore for 2 years. I think that was good for him. I think it was kind of time to get out of Atlanta. Um, you know, Atlanta was this high hopes team for so many years, and the last couple of years they just really haven't. I mean, obviously last year they were very injured, but the year before I just wasn't feeling them, and I think we're kind of on the cool down of the Braves height. Just my opinion. But I want to touch on Corbin Burns. So I was upset about this because I really wanted to see him in San Francisco. He was
Mhm.
offered more money by the Blue Jays and the Giants than he was by the Diamondbacks. But he said he went to the Diamondbacks because he's not going to be taxed as much. So he literally was just looking for the most money he could possibly get
Right.
without losing. Um, where I think this benefits Corbin is that he can opt out after his second year in this contract. So he could opt out after the 2026 season, go into his 2027 season at the age of 32 with a brand new team and bank $32,000 or $32 million the next 2 years. So $64 million over the next 2 years just playing in Arizona. You know, I think this works out really well for him. The other thing is it can also help out Arizona. I mean, Arizona, they would still be on the hook for what, another 36 times four plus another 44. They got 64 million that they have deferred, plus the other 1,240 million dollars they would still have to pay him. So this actually benefits out for both of these teams. Like they could both come away with getting what they need out of this, but still making money in the end. And if Corbin Burns plays for them for 2 years and they just don't play well, he'll just be like, "Peace, I'm out," because it's his option. It's not the
Yeah.
team's.
Yeah.
So
100%. 100%.
I,
100%.
I'm going to be interested to see what happens in the next month and a half. Which brings us to our next topic. Let's talk about existing free agents and who is still available. Who
Hmm.
is still out there waiting to be taken? So you got Pete Alonso, Hassan Kim, Bregman, Anthony Santander, Jack Flaherty, uh, Profar, Rizzo, Scherzer, Verlander, and Quintana. Now, Bill, you had a really interesting idea for us
Hmm.
today.
So I'm
So I'm
gonna
going to
let,
let you bring the idea to the
yeah. So
floor.
let's do something different, Sam, because we can talk about where these people are gonna go. So this is what I want to do. I want to go back and forth on this list or any other free agents, and I want you to tell me a person and where you think they're going to sign. And I have to tell you whether or not I think you're being truthful or whether or not you're just playing, right? And then we're going to go back and forth. We're going to do this 3 different times. So why don't you lead us off? Where do you think one of these guys is going to go, and then justify it for me?
All right. So I'm going to give you my first one is going to be a layup. It's going to be a layup. We're going to
Hmm.
make it easy just to get the blood flowing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You just want to get
Just
the
get the blood
juices
flowing, get picked up.
going, get a little shimmy in there. Yeah.
Real shimmy,
Pete
shimmy.
Alonso is going to be a San Francisco Giant. That's your layup.
What?
It's simple. It's simple to justify. It's really easy to justify.
I think you're being truthful in
Giants
that.
need
I think you're actually being truthful in that.
Giant Giants need a power bat that can come in at first for this
Uh-huh.
year.
Uh-huh.
Um, we have Bryce Eldridge, who's going to be our future first baseman, that will eventually take over that spot. But they can use Alonso at first base this year and transition him to the permanent DH next year.
Okay.
He he historically has played well in San Francisco. He's got the power bat to push it over the wall in right field.
Mhm.
Um, and I think just with what the Giants are doing, bringing in a couple of vets to help these younger guys out, I think this is the right move, especially with Bryce Eldridge coming up next year. Having a guy like Pete Alonso, who has proven himself as an exceptional bat and a solid defensive first baseman, I think this would be the good move for the Giants. That's my layup.
Okay, so I think you're actually being serious about that. So am I right?
Oh, I'm 1,000% right. 100%.
Okay. All
No
right.
question.
All right. Here we go. Alex Bregman goes to the Detroit Tigers, and he'll sign a 5-year deal. I think Alex Bregman goes to the Detroit Tigers because the Detroit Tigers need that veteran leadership. Alex wants to play in a place where it could be Alex Bregman and the whatever team show up. And they're coming to town type thing. He wants to be the guy. He's not going to be that in Houston. He turned down the Houston contract. So Bregman goes to the Tigers.
I think you're being truthful. I
I am.
think it's
I am.
I think it's also a smart move for the Tigers. Bregman is a killer third baseman.
Mhm.
He's got there's a ton of upside with only minimal down. Um,
Mhm.
I am on board with this. Totally on
Awesome.
board with it.
Okay, who do you got
All
next?
right, Justin Verlander
Okay.
will be a Seattle Mariner.
Okay. What's your justification to that?
They need some pitching. It's kind of been up and down the last year. I think they've got a lot of good youth that's coming up over the next year. That a guy like Verlander can help bring some professionalism to those guys, so they're really ready to go. If not in that first year, really ready to go by the second year. And I think he's going to be able to come in and be someone that hypes up that pitching staff that they haven't had since Ken Felix.
Okay. I think you're joking.
Yeah, I'm joking. I don't
Yeah.
know what
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it.
But
Okay.
I think my justifications were actually legitimate
I think
because
so too. I just if you would have said any team but Seattle, I would have bought it probably. All right. Okay. Jack Flaherty goes to the Kansas City Royals, signs a long-term deal in Kansas City because Kansas City needs help over there with Seth Lugo. He wants to compete in the same division as the Tigers and show them what they gave up when they gave him up.
I think you're full of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually think that
it.
Jack really wants to come back to the Dodgers. I don't see him coming back to the Dodgers, but I don't think he's going to go to Kansas.
That's
All right,
fair.
what's
That's
your
fair.
last one? Show me your last one.
Uh,
What you
my
got?
last one. I got to show all my cards. I got to show them
Uh-huh.
all now.
Show them all now.
All right. Anthony Rizzo will be a Los Angeles Angel
Mm,
on a 3-year contract for 40 between 45 and 55 million dollars a year.
okay. Okay.
The Angels the Angels just really haven't had anything. They had Shohei, they did nothing with it. They've had Trout forever, and they can't do anything with it. And I think right now what they need is they need some veterans that can come in while they bolster up their farm system, that they can use some of these veterans throughout the year as trade bait to bring in more youth into their farm system.
Okay.
Because if the veterans are playing well on a new team, use them as trade bait. Get a couple of draft picks. Get some guys in the top 100 from some other teams. Get some guys that are showing some potential in double A or single A. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's where I'm looking at for Rizzo. I think he's going to end up on the West Coast. I think he's going to end up in an Angels jersey.
I don't think you're being truthful. I think you're joking.
I'm like 50-50 on that one.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's not
mean?
the game, but I agree. I understand your
Because
justification. I like it.
it's something that I could actually see the Angels
Doing.
doing.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too.
But Rizzo being smart enough to not take the bait.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like one of those.
All
But
right. You ready?
give me
You
your
ready for
last
my
one.
last one?
Give me your last one.
JV goes to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He has 262 wins. He signs a 2-year deal with a player option for year three. He is going to go over to the Angels and try to get 12 to 13 wins this season and next season to put him in screaming distance of the coveted 300 wins. Um, he will
Mm.
be he will be the second starter right behind Kikuchi, and that will bolster the Angels' pitching lineup. And JV has a couple of favorite restaurants out here in the Orange County, LA area that he loves to eat at. So I'm going to say Mr. Kate Upton is going to be a Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim pitcher.
I think you're being serious.
I am. I'm being 100% serious. I do think he would fit very, very well there.
Yeah.
Um, And I think that if the Angels were to sign JV, I think that the Angels within that contract, if it's a 2-year with a player option for the third year, I actually think the Angels would make the playoffs in one of those years.
I think it also, again, similar to my load about Seattle, find the same find some of the same things being similar in Anaheim.
I find
No,
some of the
look,
same things being similar.
I mean, I no, no, no. What I mean by that is that some young pitchers that are
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
up, you got a veteran guy that's been there before, knows what he's dealing with, knows how to help these younger guys kind of
yeah,
mold themselves, help them be young professionals. I think that's something that we always take for granted a lot of times
yes,
is, the if you just have a team full of youth, who is going to teach these guys how to actually be a pro?
no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree
So,
with you.
it's one of the reasons why I've never been a big fan of completely cleaning house and just bringing in only guys from the farm. Because if that's what you're doing, you're literally saying, we have, we don't want anyone to teach these guys how to be professionals. We just want them to figure it out.
Correct.
And if that's the way you want to run your clubhouse, you're going to be running your clubhouse with a bunch of immature high school kids. Because remember, most kids out of that come in are in their early 20s. Some of them don't even go to college.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I
So
agree.
you need to have these older guys, the the Verlanders, the Scherzers, the Flahertys, the Patrick Corbins, the
Mhm.
Charlie Mortons that can come in here and say, guys, this is how you be a pro, and this is how you be a pro superstar.
I
So
agree.
I
I
love this. I thought this was really good. I was excited to see who was telling the truth and if you were lying and
yeah.
what ones you might have been 50-50 on. Um this is exciting. We'll do this again. We'll come up with a couple of different options to see how maybe some of our TFR colleagues feel about some of these picks and see if they're being truthful or not.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think about
I
that?
I agree with you. I agree with you. So let's see what we can do. I've enjoyed this, and there's going to be a lot of more. There's going to be a lot more gamification that we're going to be doing on the show. We've got some announcements next show that are Sam on a scale of 1 to awesome. How awesome are our announcements that are coming down the pipeline?
Electric.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Sam will be shaving his beard, everybody. Um,
No, I won't.
uh,
I told you got to give me till the next episode to tell you if I'm doing it or not. I'm not committing to anything now.
Sam, he's shaving the beard. He's shaving the beard.
Yeah.
He already knows the Dodgers are going to win the West.
Nah, we'll see.
Uh,
As we head to the end of the show, a couple of quick things. As we always say, make sure you are checking out X every Thursday for TFR. It's sports talk, it's fan involved, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join Bill, join Megan, talk about anything you want sports related. We are there to just have an open forum of sports conversation every
mhm.
Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Now this week may be a little difficult because we have Fan Fest this week, but we will definitely be there soon.
Yes. As always, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check out tomorrow on X with Megan and Bill talking all things baseball. They are going to be talking the college playoff series, the current NFL playoff standings, how teams are going to end up. Why in God's name would the Patriots fire their head coach an hour after the game? Like, why? Why do they do these things? Maybe Robert Kraft is going senile. Maybe him and Jerry both need to be put into a home. These are the things that Bill and Megan are going to be talking about. So make sure you are checking it out.
Checking it out.
Top Fan Rivalry and Heads Up Sports Cards every other week. Starting next week, we'll be doing a baseball card break live on Instagram.
Yes, yes.
Live on Instagram on all of these dates. Make sure you check out 9 days prior to the day of the break to be able to officially select the teams you want in each break. It is first come, first serve, and these teams are going to be hot off the press, especially if you're looking for a Paul Skeens. So make sure you get to topfanrivalry.com, join the locker room, sign up. It's an awesome organization. If you're not able to make it for the TFR break, make sure you get to Facebook. Make sure you join Heads Up Sports Cards because Mike is doing breaks every single day. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, wrestling. Maybe he'll throw a specialty NASCAR one in there. He does them all. So make sure you are checking up Heads Up Sports Cards. It is an amazing fan group to be a part of. Bill, any other announcements we got to give to the fans out there?
Not right now. I mean, we're cranking up some amazing things with the podcast, the articles. There will be every week starting next week, there will be a Bills Corner. There will be an article written right there on the front page. You don't even have to pay for it. It's not even in the locker room, but I'm going to give you some thoughts on some different things. Look forward to it. It's going to be so much fun. Join the T-shirt club. You're going to get amazing shirts. T-shirt club is not that expensive. You spend more on coffee every month and have nothing to show for it. Probably every week. Sam, do you spend more on coffee every week than you do on the T-shirt club? It's a possibility.
I mean, when I was buying coffee every day because I left my house to go to work, I probably was. But now that I work from home, I have unfortunately learned to be frugal and drink disgusting K cup coffee. So, no,
Ah,
I don't.
well, then there you go. There you go. But join the
But I
T-shirt
will
club. It's going
say
to be a lot of fun.
I will say this, I probably spend more on Amazon in a day than I do on the T-shirt club in a month. So
Amazon loves you. All right,
Amazon
everybody.
does love me.
We are
But
we are going to have some amazing announcements coming next week. So stay tuned to that. Stay tuned. That's all I have to
yes,
say about that.
as always, make sure you are consistently checking out topfanrivalry.com for new articles, podcasts, merch. Join that t-shirt club. It is awesome. The exclusive member events are going to be coming back in full force as we head into the year. And unfortunately, I won't be making my appearance this year at Top Fan Rivalry Fan Fest due to some unfortunate circumstances, but I will be at the next one. I can guarantee you that. Don't you worry. Final, as we always do to end the show, Bill, any final comments from the fans out there?
No, go fight, win.
Go fight, win. I love it. That's how we're going to do this every time. Thank you so much for joining us on ATD this week. If you haven't gotten to the locker room yet, make sure you get there. Make sure you sign up. Use the code ATD to get yourself 10% off your annual membership. And we will see you on the field next week.